young people were found dead in the trunk of a car in Bay Terraces. The update from police overnight.
An innocent bystander caught in the crossfire after gunfire erupted downtown after an argument.
A deadly disease affecting chicken in SoCal. The effort to stop the disease before it can hurt North County farms.
Sending support more than 700 miles away after the deadly shooting in Texas, from San Diego to El Paso and beyond.
This is something that touched very close to home with a lot of us.
Their unifying message.
Hi, everybody. It's 6 a.m. August 12th. We're so glad you could be here on Virginia Shot.
And I'm Jim Patton. Let's get right over to Megan with a check on our weather today. How are we looking?
Well, a lot of us are cloudy, so I figured I'd start off with a sunny shot as we look towards Julian. And Julian, a lot of kids heading back to school today. We wish you a great school year ahead. It is pretty quiet out here right now. You can see those clear skies. And one of the big trouble spots as far as fog goes since we went on air at 4:30 has been Fallbrook. Visibility down to 3/10 of a mile. I know a lot of kids are heading back to school in Fallbrook as well, so maybe wear something bright. If you're going out to the bus stop, you're going to be waiting outside because of that fog. Your off to school forecast gets us into the 70s by recess, and by this afternoon we are going to be in the 80s with 70s and 80s for most of the county, low 100s out in the deserts. I will pinpoint some of the warmer spots before a heat wave moves in when I come back in about 8 minutes. Jared, how's it looking on the roads?
I miss recess.
I know, right?
Can we have that here?
Let's do it.
All right. We've got a few crashes also for those of you heading out this morning. The 163 and the 5 still backing up all the way up into Hillcrest now because of this earlier crash. The cars are on the right shoulder. They're getting towed right now, but it's causing some problems. And then over in Lakeside, that car crash on the on-ramp at Winter Gardens Boulevard in the 67, not causing too much of a backup at all, but those cars are kind of sticking into the right lane. So stay to the left if you're coming in from that area. Meanwhile, the rest of the North County looks really good. The 78 across, you're seeing some slowing just south of Escondido on the 15. The drive through Encinitas and Solana Beach looks fantastic. And your South Bay drive times right now starting to slow down on the 5 as you head in from National City. The 805 up from Chula Vista, wide open. We'll get a full South Bay forecast in just about 10 minutes. Virginia?
Thank you so much, Jared. We have some new information as police investigate how 3 people died after they were found in the trunk of a car in Bay Terraces.
10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is live there. Mimi, you just spoke to a neighbor off camera.
I did, Jim. Virginia. He tells me recently he has seen some suspicious people parked in some cars here on Jamie Avenue lately. Police are still looking into last night's case, looking for any new leads. This all happened here in this residential area. You could see surrounded by homes on Jamie Avenue. Neighbors reported a suspicious car parked here yesterday, and when officers got here, they found 3 bodies inside of the trunk. We do have some video for you. Look at the scene from Sunday. Police got the calls just before 5 p.m. That's when officers arrived to the scene and made the gruesome discovery. As of right now, they don't have any information about how the car got here and how long the bodies had been in the trunk. 2 of the victims are females, 1 is a male, but police say due to the condition their bodies were found in, their races are unknown at this time. Police do say all 3 appear to be young, either in their late teens or early 20s. The cause and manner of their deaths won't be determined until the autopsy happens. Of course, there's still many questions surrounding this case, so if you have any helpful information for police, you are asked to contact them. For now, we're live in Bay Terraces. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
Mimi, thank you. New this morning, the mosque shooting in Norway is now being investigated as an attempted terrorism attack. Gunmen shot and wounded 1 person inside the mosque right by Oslo. Police describe the suspect as a white Norwegian citizen around 20 years old. He had expressed extreme views and hostile attitudes toward immigrants. When officers arrived, worshipers had already rushed and tackled the gunman, knocking that gun out of his hand. Police say there's no doubt their quick response saved lives.
Meanwhile, police are investigating 2 shootings overnight here that sent 5 people to a hospital. Now, the first one happened downtown on 6th Avenue, a block away from Symphony Hall. Witnesses told police 5 men got into a fight and then shots were fired. A man who happened to be walking nearby when that fight broke out was shot in the leg, taken to a hospital, but he is expected to be okay. Then, just after midnight in Lincoln Park, 4 people had to go to a hospital. Witnesses say they were hit in a drive-by shooting. You can see the bullet holes in the car. Police say none of those victims are cooperating. One of them does have life-threatening injuries. Police have not arrested anyone in either shooting.
San Diegans gathered in Balboa Park to honor the 22 people killed in El Paso. Organizers say they wanted to create a symbol of border city solidarity.
Happens here. What can we do here to prevent something like that? And I think the biggest thing is coming together as a community, reminding each other we're one, we're San Diego.
A week ago Saturday, 22 people were killed, 24 more injured in an El Paso Walmart. Organizers of last night's event say it was a step toward building an America where everyone, including immigrants, is safe.
So the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's death is focusing on what oversight was in place at the Metropolitan Correctional Facility in Manhattan. That jail was reportedly so understaffed, one guard had been working 5 straight days of overtime, and guards apparently had failed to check on Epstein as often as required. He was accused of sex trafficking. He was being held without bond. He was supposed to be checked every 30 minutes following a reported suicide attempt less than 3 weeks ago, but ABC News found that wasn't happening. Epstein's accusers are now demanding the criminal investigation focus on any accomplices.
Now, a 10 News Morning Original. New reporting first at 6.
People who live in the North County are worried about a deadly disease spreading through California's chicken population. 10 News reporter Jared Aarons in the Live Center. And Jared, there's no cure and it's getting very close to San Diego.
It is, Jim. The California Department of Agriculture put out a quarantine for Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino County because of virulent Newcastle disease. That's raised alarms here in San Diego and has owners here doing everything they can to protect their flocks.
The big fluffy one, her name is Izzy, and the light colored one is June.
For Susie Hawthorne, her flock of 5 chickens is more than just egg layers.
Oh yeah, they're pets. They're pets, yeah.
Which is why she's determined to keep them safe from virulent Newcastle disease.
I do protect them. I have something over them all the time so that there's no flyover contamination. And we wash our shoes and everything before we go into the pen.
That's what they're doing at Hawthorne Country Store in Escondido, where fear about the disease is affecting business.
All of these pens would be full of birds that we raised here.
This spring, the store canceled an order for 12,000 chickens. They set up a foot wash at the front door, signs warn of contamination, and offer to bring phone orders out to cars, and they're not taking any returns.
You just can't do it. Even though we're not under quarantine, we're still being very careful.
The disease won't spread to humans, but is highly contagious and deadly for birds. Ag officials will kill entire flocks if even one bird tests positive. None in San Diego have yet. Bird owners say extreme caution is the best policy to keep it that way.
And people aren't very careful. They think it's never going to happen to them, you know. Oh, that'll never happen here. But it does.
This is heartbreaking, really. It's heartbreaking for us.
Now, the last positive test for this disease was June 4th. The ag community is hopeful the quarantine statewide will be lifted by the end of the summer. In the Live Center, Jared Aarons, 10 News.
Thank you, Jared. Stretches of Coast Boulevard and Cave Street still closed in La Jolla as crews continue to work to stabilize the sea cave below. They began emergency construction Friday morning. It is expected to continue for about 6 weeks. Now, experts discovered a weakness in this sea cave called Cook's Crack. They recommended the city take immediate action to make sure that area is safe.
Well, today is the second session of the OB Pier Jump as part of the Junior Lifeguard Program designed to teach children about drowning prevention. Parents can buy tickets to jump with their kids. All proceeds benefit the Prevent Drowning Foundation of San Diego, which teaches kids to swim. The first jump is at 9 o'clock, the second at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
The Perseid meteor shower is underway, and tonight through tomorrow morning will be the best time to see it. This annual shower is a comet flare-up in the Earth's atmosphere. Kind of looks like falling stars. The shower this year, though, hits at kind of a bad time because the moon is close to full. It makes it brighter out there and a little more difficult to catch the light show. But NASA says there will be lots of meteors, fireballs this year, so it's still worth going outside to try to see it, which is the operative word, try.
I know. We always get the marine layer. So if you want to go, I would suggest going further inland. Ramona's clear right now. They're likely going to be clear again tomorrow. So tonight tonight. It would be quite nice there, but if you really want to get a good view, go out to Julian or go out to Tierra del Sol or head out to the deserts. Right now, the marine layer is blanketing most of the county. It is clear in Ramona right now. Visibility in Fallbrook is down to about 3/10 of a mile, so if you're headed out to school, maybe you're for your first day and you're going out to the bus stop, maybe wear something bright so that you can be seen very easily. La Mesa also heading back to school today. Temperatures by 10 a.m. about 74 degrees and we'll be in the low 80s there this afternoon. Low to mid 70s at the coast, mostly mid 80s inland, 87 for Escondido, 82 degrees in Fallbrook today. Near 90 in Ramona. I'm going to be pinpointing when we're going to see 80s at the coast and 90s inland when I come back with your full forecast. How's the commute looking, Jared?
Well, if you're heading into downtown from the East County, things look pretty good right now. This is the 94 at 28th Street, the road in from Lemon Grove and the College area south, and you can see it's free and clear. As for the rest of the county, lots of green on our maps, but a little bit of slowing in the South Bay. You're down to about 30 miles an hour on the 5 through National City, 55 miles an hour when the 94 and the 805 merge, so give yourself a few extra minutes. And then that Coronado Bridge, once you're on the island, really slow, but getting across the bridge looks pretty good. Here are your drive times out of the South Bay. The 805 just 17 minutes from Main Street in Chula Vista up to the 8, 10 minutes on the 5 from National City up to the 94. The 54 still wide open. Jim, Virginia, back to you.
Jared, thank you. A family lucky to escape this inferno. Their Tesla burst into flames on a busy highway. The crash that led up to this fire.
An act of kindness caught on camera. This airman's good deed after he saw an elderly woman trying to carry groceries home in 100-degree heat. You know, it's not.
Good morning to you. 6:14 on your Mondays. We take a live look from Mount San Miguel at the marine layer from above. Always beautiful from this angle, huh?
6:14, new video showing a Tesla that turned into an inferno on this busy highway in Moscow. The driver telling ABC News he and his family are lucky to be alive, and you can see why. He says this Tesla Model 3 crashed into a parked tow truck while it was in drive assistance mode. The driver also says he was holding the steering wheel but didn't see the truck until it was too late. The impact broke his leg, but his children only have a few bruises. Tesla has not commented on this accident.
New push for stronger regulations at fertility clinics across the country. This after more families are discovering the clinics mixed up their embryos. Earlier this month, lawyers said a family from Columbus learned of a mix-up after getting home DNA tests for Christmas. Turns out their daughter had a different father, the result of an embryo allegedly being fertilized secretly with the sperm of a stranger.
We keep asking, why hasn't someone done something about this already? We're talking about the creation of life.
There are reproductive tissue rules already in place, but lawyers say more needs to be done.
Apple is trying to get ahead of hackers. They're offering a huge reward to anyone who can hack into an iPhone. They say the point is to find security flaws that they need to fix. Now, the company has done something similar before, but it was by invitation only. This time, they're offering $1 million to any hacker who can gain full control of an iPhone without the phone owner interacting with it. They say they're not going to be targeting customers' phones, just developer devices.
New this morning, an act of kindness captured on video. A senior airman helping an elderly woman carry her groceries. This is Airman Jabrell Jennings, who was driving in Oklahoma City when he noticed drivers starting to swerve. He realized there was no accident. It was 71-year-old Janice Hall carrying groceries in 100-degree heat.
Would you like a ride? And she said, thank you. I would love that. I just thought, what if my grandmother was on the side of the road?
Yeah, a stranger capturing this moment on camera as Jennings loaded groceries into his car and then drove her 2 miles back to her home. Jennings says he would expect no less from his community.
I love how he brings it back and really understands by saying, what if this were my grandmother?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. No, great help. I'm sure she greatly appreciates it.
Long walk too. Well, who knows how long she was walking before that. Had 2 miles to go. So
I
yeah,
know.
All it takes is a little bit of something to make somebody's day. All right, let's show you what's going on. I love this shot over Rancho Penasquitos. Those marine layer clouds down below. The sun just creeping up right now as we look towards Rancho Penasquitos. It is 65 degrees downtown, a degree cooler in Carlsbad and in Oceanside, 61 in Escondido, Poway, and in Vista. Still foggy in Fallbrook as you're heading out to work or back to school. So as we head into the day tomorrow, temperatures are going to come up several more degrees. Today we're only going to be about a degree to maybe up to 3 degrees warmer than yesterday. But tomorrow we're going to see more 90s and some mid 90s for some of our warmer spots like Ramona. And then in the deserts, we're going to talk about dangerous heat. An excessive heat watch is in effect for Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures between about 112 and 116. Overnight temperatures in the 80s. So the days are going to be very hot and the nights are going to be quite warm. As high pressure builds towards the west, temperatures will be soaring 5 to 10 degrees warmer than today. By Wednesday, we're going to be right around 80 degrees Wednesday and Thursday along our coast. And then this weekend, temperatures will actually dip down into the mid 70s. So the warm up is very short lived. Wednesday and Thursday, the warmest days. And then we're right back down into the low 80s for our inland neighborhoods after being in the mid 90s Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures in the overnight hours mostly in the low to mid 60s. Even the mountains heating up. Temperatures will be in the 90s by Wednesday and Thursday. 70s return by Saturday and Sunday. And in the deserts, 114 and 115 Wednesday and Thursday. Jared?
Got that America's Finest City Half Marathon on Sunday, so it looks good.
It looks nice, yeah.
Nice and cool. We'll keep it that way. Here's what traffic looks like. Pretty cool this morning out on the roads as well. You can see lots of green if you're coming in on the 8 through El Cajon heading into the College area. The 67 has a little bit of slowing around Lakeside, but once you're coming into Santee, you look pretty good on the 52. A little bit of slowing. You can see the 52 and 125 merger is still pretty wide open right now. A little bit of brake lights as we get further off of the intersection, but then if you look at the freeway itself, down to about 50 miles an hour, so that's not too bad. Not going to add too much time to your drive. Make sure you buckle up and drive a little slower this morning anyway, just to stay safe. Virginia?
Thank you, Jared. A freak accident at the beach. A teenager impaled by an umbrella.
The kid he was just walking along and all of a sudden the umbrella just stabbed him.
The shocking number of related injuries since 2010.
White lies on the job, what experts say it means if you lie at work.
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer. ice cream sandwich? We're going to show you what they're putting in these.
Skycam View, sponsored by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better.
Don't worry about Megan, she's so quiet this morning.
I know, I'm tired.
Too much party in the weekday.
Welcome back. Taking a quick look at the Coronado Bridge, and you can see there is some serious marine layer all over it, but the cars are moving pretty nicely. Jared Aaron's watching the roads for you to let you know what to expect before you head out.
Now this morning, a 13-year-old boy still recovering after he was impaled by a beach umbrella over the weekend. Happened at Good Harbor Beach in Massachusetts. Wind picked up the umbrella, sent it flying toward the boy, piercing his left arm. He was rushed to a hospital, expected to be okay. Consumer Product Safety Commission says about 2,800 beach umbrella-related injuries were reported between 2010 and 2018. Experts say that using an anchor or weights can help to keep beach umbrellas in place.
That's important. So if you own a Ford or Lincoln, you may soon be getting some cash from the company. Ford is setting aside $17 million to settle a lawsuit over the My Ford and My Lincoln touch systems in those cars. There has been an ongoing issue with how the system responds to voice commands and connects to devices. The money will go to 360,000 owners who bought cars with those systems between 2010 and 2013. That could add up to be about $400 a person, depending on that person's experience with the system.
Now, new this morning, a study claims that the less happy people are at work, the more likely they are to lie to others at the office. Survey from Simply Hired says that 41% of people surveyed say they aren't satisfied at work, and also say they tell at least one white lie a week. The most common is the lie, "I'm not feeling well," or "I already have plans after work."
A powerful mudslide in Washington flowing directly into 3 mobile homes with people inside. Unfortunately, everyone was able to get out safely, but one person did lose everything.
He was crying and I felt bad. I didn't know how to comfort him, like he just lost his home.
Oh, Mariana Espinosa says it was a chaotic scene last night about 5. She says she was painting in her home when she looked out her window and saw her street looking like a river. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says this was one of the stronger rains they have had in some time.
After French's announcement of mustard ice cream, Oscar Mayer took it one step further. Say hello to the Oscar Mayer Ice Dog sandwich flavored ice cream. Yeah. It's made with Oscar Mayer hot dog bits, sandwiched with spicy mustard and a cookie bun. The new creation will be available in New York City this week, but if you want to try it, you can send the company a direct message on Twitter. You may be able to try it through a limited giveaway.
Are you in?
I don't know. I have to read more about. I mean, I like hot dogs.
Yeah.
I just
Cold
don't know
dogs.
if they match with. Anyway, we'll see. Good Samaritans rushing to help people trapped in a car that flipped on the 94. Police say a car that ran out of gas was at the center of a chain reaction crash.
A little boy's project to help his classmates who lost parents in the deadly shooting in Dayton.
Housing market appears to be slowing down. The new numbers that show homes are staying on the market longer.
When I came through, I slammed on my brakes.
Drivers swerving and slamming on their brakes to avoid the mess after a chain reaction crash on the 94. How it all started.
Honking to show support for immigration rights. The protests in Southern California after the major ICE raids in Mississippi. Coming up on 6:30. Hi, you guys. So glad you're here. I'm Virginia Cha.
And I'm Jim Patton. It is great to have you here. Let's get right over to Megan with a check on our weather this morning. It looks a little misty behind you.
Yeah, the marine layer is with us for sure, covering most of us in those cloudy skies. Overcast as we look towards Del Mar, Dog Beach down below, and visibility issues in Fallbrook. Since we went on air at 4:30, visibility in Fallbrook has been greatly reduced. So leave time for travel if you're heading out to work, or maybe you're going back to school today. And good luck to all the kids heading back to school today or this week. There's a lot of them. As we look towards the skyline of downtown, it is 65 degrees in Coronado right now. Sunset this evening at 7:37, and most areas will clear out of those clouds by mid to late morning. Some areas may take a little bit longer along our coastline, but overall a gorgeous day in store for us with 70s and 80s for most of the county and about 106 in the deserts. I'm going to be tracking a mini heat wave we're going to feel midweek and how hot it's going to get when I come back with your full forecast. How's our Monday drive looking, Jared?
Well, this escalated quickly. I showed you this camera about 5 minutes ago. There was no traffic on the 54 near the 125, and now you can see gridlock, cars moving about 10 miles an hour. Let's take a look around the rest of the county, and you can see a little bit of slowing around Escondido if you're coming out of the North County. That drive between Vista and San Marcos, though, still all green on our maps. Here's that slowing that we just showed you on the 52. It lasts from just west or east of the 125 all the way over to about Mast Avenue. Then it's free through the 163. In the South Bay, we're seeing some slowing as well once you get around the 94 on the 805 up to about the 8. And then the 5 in Mission Valley, rather National City, is down to 21 miles an hour. Drive safe out there, everyone. Buckle up this Monday morning. Jim?
Jared, thank you. Scary moments caught on camera after a chain reaction crash on the 94. Suspected drunk driver nearly runs right through the crash scene with people still on the road. 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie is there. And Mary, that was just one of the moments of chaos on the freeway this morning.
One of the scariest moments for sure this morning. That driver was arrested shortly after on suspicion of DUI, but up there earlier this morning, it was a chaotic scene. Multiple cars, all of their debris across the lanes on the 94. And when CHP got here, they had to move it all out of the way. And that's partly because they had several cars, not just the one blowing through the accident scene here. But it was about 2:15 when a man called 911 because he ran out of gas and stalled his car in the slow lane. And then that chain reaction crash started with the first car that rear-ended him and then flipped upside down. Then a third car also crashed. That driver had to go to the hospital. Luckily, she was the only one hurt, though, and none of the people who stopped to help got hit as they walked across lanes, checking the cars to make sure that everyone was out. There certainly were some close calls here this morning, though.
When I came through, I slammed on my brakes, and yeah, there was about 4 or 5 others that just slammed on their brakes when they came through, and yeah, it was nothing we could do but hear the screeching tires and step back and hope that we don't get hit.
Now, when we drove through a couple of hours ago, there was no more debris, thankfully, in the lanes. We're down here, obviously, for safety reasons so that we can be off of the freeway. We're live in Mount Hope. Mary McKenzie, 10 News.
Thank you, Mary. After the massive ICE raids in Mississippi last week, over the weekend in this area, immigration rights advocates held a Close the Camps protest in Los Angeles. Dozens gathered yesterday urging lawmakers to shut down migrant facilities and make sure migrants are safe.
What we should do when people come to our border is welcome them with open arms, find out what their story is, allow them to come in, and then find out if they should be here or not.
This is the second Close the Camps protest. The first one was in July after members of Congress visited several Customs and Border Protection facilities and said migrants were living in inhumane conditions. CBP officials have denied the allegations of mistreatment, adding that an internal investigation is underway.
Oh, a little boy is spending his weekend manning a lemonade stand to raise money for the victims of the mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio.
You know, just coming to grips of that could have been my mom, you know, that's somebody in our community.
Angela Bailey says she tried to explain the shooting to her young son, Brennan. When they found out that the children of 2 victims went to the same school as Brennan, they decided to help. Brennan came up with the idea for the lemonade stand, asking people to give only what they could. Word spread quickly on social media, and more than 500 people visited his stand.
Meanwhile, in Gilroy, crowds wore these Gilroy Strong shirts at the rodeo over the weekend. This is the first big event there since the deadly shooting at the Garlic Festival a couple of weeks ago. The man behind these shirts has been a vendor at the Garlic Festival for more than 3 decades, and he says he plans to use this money to pay for therapy for those impacted by the shooting.
Most people I've talked to want to come out and support us just because they don't feel like, they want to live in fear. They want to stand up, be together as a community.
They did bring in extra security for this rodeo, including metal detectors and increased deputy patrols.
Well, more than 10,000 firearms have been voluntarily surrendered in New Zealand after the country's worst mass shooting. New Zealand tightened its gun laws after someone opened fire at 2 mosques in Christchurch, killing 51 people in March. The accused shooter pleaded not guilty. New Zealand banned semi-automatic weapons just 2 weeks after that attack. The government will buy back weapons from the public. It's expected to cost up to $200 million.
Oceanside police need your help to find a missing person they say is at risk. Take a look at the picture. This is Jaime Castrellón. Police say he is 28 years old, about 5'9", 175 pounds. He was last seen wearing a blue t-shirt, blue jeans with a backpack in the area of Coast Highway and the 76 in Oceanside. Anyone with information is asked to please call Oceanside Police.
And the teen seriously hurt after a shooting early Sunday is still in the hospital. Police say that Ricardo Dominguez was shot in the hip in front of his Chollas View apartment complex near the 47th trolley station. He's now in the ICU in serious but stable condition. Police are still looking for the shooter.
So today, the city of Carlsbad will begin a resurfacing project that will block parts of streets in several neighborhoods. So the closure today is on Pyreneos Way from 8:30 this morning to 3:30 this afternoon. Now, eventually, all the streets you see on that map will be repaved, they say, with recycled scrap tires. The city says at least one lane, though, will be open during repaving.
For the first time, one of Lori Loughlin's daughters is talking about the college admission scandal that got both of her parents into trouble. Over the weekend, Olivia Jade posted a picture on Instagram with both middle fingers in the air, and she tagged celebrity tabloids, including People and Star magazine. Both Loughlin and her husband are facing federal charges and possible jail time after allegedly paying $500,000 in bribes to get their 2 daughters admitted into USC by having them pose as elite athletes. You can hear from Olivia Jade on GMA right after 10 News this morning. Well, the San Diego housing market is starting to slow down for the first time in years. There were 38,000 homes for sale in the first half of the year. That is the most since 2015. However, only about 19,000 of those homes are actually sold. That's the lowest in 5 years. Most homes spend an average of 35 days on the market. Real estate experts say prices rose so quickly in recent years that the median home price is now out of reach for many potential buyers.
A program that kicked off this weekend gives kids a chance to hang out at the beach and learn about science and marine ecosystems. A coastal and wildlife conservation nonprofit called Wild Coast created this program. They are partnering with schools around the county as well as the Fleet Science Center and the Birch Aquarium to bring kids out to what they're calling shoreline labs.
For most of them, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get to go to the beach and collect the scientific data. And for a lot of them, it's really their first exposure to scientific careers.
Students will have the chance to go behind the scenes at the aquarium, meet with grad students, and learn about possible careers in this field.
A group of local high schoolers will teach young cancer patients how to code today. 2 Carlsbad high school students who are on the all-girls robotics team came up with the Inspire code. The sister of one of those students is a former cancer patient at Rady Children's Hospital, so she and her teammates want to give back. More than a dozen patients at the Ronald McDonald House will learn how to code and program their own robots later this afternoon.
Warm today, becoming hot soon. I am tracking the 5 to 15 degree jump in temperatures in the days ahead.
An explosion rocks a neighborhood. Officials still trying to determine the cause of the blast that destroyed a home, killing the owner who was sleeping inside.
A big change at the San Diego Half Triathlon over the weekend. Why swimmers were not allowed in the water.
Simone Biles making history, the different record she broke this weekend as she twisted and flipped through the air.
And another manic Monday on Wall Street as the Dow opens the day down nearly 200 points, S&P down 20, NASDAQ down 56. How about this though? Stocks of Wrangler jeans are up. They say they're being boosted by the Lil Nas X song Old Town Road. Kind of interesting. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Today's market update sponsored by California Coast Credit Union, improving lives in our community.
They make their money off the value of property. And if property values drop, then property taxes.
So this morning we're starting off with the marine layer. Let's go to one of the areas where kids are heading back to school today, La Mesa. And yeah, it's very cloudy. The marine layer is with us, leading to some fog in Fallbrook. Visibility is down to 0.2 of a mile. Other areas are looking good. There may be some pockets at some of the higher elevations where you're kind of just going up into the clouds where it could be a little bit foggy. But once you get down to the main roads, you should be in the clear. We're starting off in the low 60s for Escondido, Poway, Vista, El Cajon, and Kearny Mesa, also in La Jolla this morning. 63 degrees in Chula Vista, 50s and 40s out in most of our mountain areas, so a lot cooler start this morning. Well, I should say a few areas are a little bit cooler. That is not going to be the way to describe the rest this week. All that heat that we're seeing in the southeast, that's headed our way. In fact, we already have excessive heat watches issued for our deserts. That will be in effect Wednesday and Thursday because temperatures will be climbing 5 to 10 degrees warmer by then. We'll also see faster clearing of the marine layer by midweek, and those temperatures that will be near to below normal today will be above normal by Wednesday. Right around 80 degrees Wednesday and Thursday at the coast, but the warm-up doesn't last very long. Temperatures start to drop by Friday. We're back in the mid-70s along our coastline, and we stay that way into the weekend. Inland neighborhoods, we're going to see some 90s tomorrow, then mid mid-90s Wednesday and Thursday, but by the weekend it's actually going to be cooler than it was this past weekend, in the low 80s. So the warm-up doesn't last very long, and right afterwards temperatures plummet pretty quickly. 90s Wednesday and Thursday, the mountains, and then Saturday we're down to the 70s, and we'll be above 110 Wednesday through Friday in the deserts. Jared?
Crash just popped up on our maps this morning that's going to affect your drive if you're coming out of the South Bay. Take a look at the 805 just near Imperial, and there are 2 cars blocking the HOV lane. That means that lane is shut down for a little while they get everything sorted out. And meanwhile, stay to the right if you want to get through that area. You can see the backup it's already causing through National City. The 5, not much better through that area. That backup is going all the way down past the 54. Speeds down to 21 miles an hour. So either way, whichever one you're on, it's going to be a bit of a frustration this morning. And the Coronado Bridge slowing down to 4, maybe 5 minutes with a backup as you get near the toll plaza. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Jared. Happening today, Bill Cosby's lawyers will fight to have his sexual assault conviction overturned. Now, Cosby is currently serving a 3 to 10-year prison sentence in Pennsylvania. A jury found him guilty of drugging and molesting a woman at his home in 2004. You probably remember the big trial. Well, Cosby's lawyers say the judge in that trial made an error, letting 5 other accusers testify. A 3-judge panel will hear the appeal but won't make a decision today. That panel not expected to rule on it for several months.
Well, take a look at this. A home that once stood here just leveled, and we've seen this a number of times in recent history. A deadly explosion tossing pieces of this home several feet across the neighborhood and debris damaging nearby homes. Officials say the Wisconsin homeowner was asleep when the house exploded yesterday afternoon. He did die in the explosion. Neighbors say it shook the entire neighborhood. Officials are still on scene trying to find the cause.
Wow. North Korea tested some new missiles over the weekend. Kim Jong-un watched over the test. North Korea State News reporting he was satisfied with the launch. North Korea didn't give many details about the missiles, only saying they were developed to suit the country's terrain. This is their 5th missile test in 2 weeks. The U.S. considers the tests a kind of protest to the slow nuclear negotiation process and the continued military drills between the U.S. and South Korea.
Well, more than 1,200 athletes had to skip the swim portion of the San Diego Half Triathlon because of high bacteria levels in the water. Race director says the county told them Friday that it was not safe for the athletes to be in the water. So just 2 days before the race, the director decided to cancel all swim events. The event supports the Challenged Athletes Foundation. It provides special equipment to athletes with disabilities. Sharon McKeeman has paralysis in her left leg, so the foundation gave her a special bike to compete.
They're incredible. I don't even have the words for how awesome they are.
McKeeman says she was bummed out to hear her favorite event, swimming, was canceled, but she was glad to hear the race director decided to keep everyone safe.
Arizona Iced Tea branching out to the cannabis business. The company says it is making THC-infused iced tea, and that's not all. A company official told the Wall Street Journal Arizona will first start infusing vape pens and gummies before infusing teas, lemonade, and coffee. Those new products will only be sold in states where recreational marijuana is legal, but it's not clear when they will hit store shelves.
History being made here. Simone Biles, the first woman to ever land a triple-double. That's 2 flips and 3 twists in the air. Biles made history several more times at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Kansas City. She became the first gymnast to ever attempt and land a double-twisting, double somersault dismount off the balance beam. Those 2 moves led to her 6th U.S. National Championship. Biles, the only the second woman in history to accomplish that.
She's so amazing. She makes it look easy. So police officers don't normally deliver pizza, as you know, but 3 officers took a moment to deliver a valuable lesson to a little boy. So take a look at this picture. In the middle, you see 5-year-old Manuel Bashara of Florida. He says he got really hungry, called 911 to order a pizza. Well, the officers were sent there just to make sure the boy was okay, and they found him at home with his 15-year-old sister. She says she had no idea he'd made that call. After a quick lesson on when it's okay to call 911, the officers, you can see, got Manuel a large pizza.
All right, so it's not okay for pizza. We learned that. Lady Gaga wants to help hundreds of students succeed after the deadly shootings across the country. In a Facebook post over the weekend, Lady Gaga says she will fund classroom projects in El Paso, Dayton, and Gilroy. Some of the projects include emotional regulation and books, others photography and painting. She wrote, "In this moment, I want to channel my confusion, frustration, and fury into hope." She says these projects will prioritize mental health.
Just into the 10 News Live Center, new rules announced today from the Trump administration are going to make it harder for people to get green cards. The administration says now that people who are on food stamps or on housing vouchers or any other kind of public assistance could be denied green cards under these new rules. It's part of the Trump administration's focus to grant immigration status to people who have skills rather than immigration status based on family reunification. In the Live Center, Jared Aarons, 10 News.
Thank you, Jared. The investigation continuing after 3 young people were found dead in the trunk of a car. We spoke to a neighbor who says he has seen suspicious vehicles in that neighborhood lately.
A light show in the sky, what maybe make it difficult to see the Perseid meteor shower this year.
Here yesterday, neighbors called police.
Time now for the top stories of the morning. Police are investigating how 3 people died after they were found in the trunk of a car in Bay Terraces.
Yeah, 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala joins us live there. And Mimi, one neighbor telling you he's seen some suspicious activity of late.
Yeah, Jim, Virginia, he says lately he has noticed people who don't actually live here just kind of sitting in parked cars, just kind of waiting. Yesterday, neighbors called police after they spotted a suspicious car right up here on Jamie Avenue. And when officers got here, they found the 3 bodies inside of the trunk of that car. Here's a look at the scene from yesterday. Police got the calls just before 5 p.m. That's when officers arrived to the scene and made that gruesome discovery. As of right now, they don't have any information about how the car got here or how long the bodies had been in the trunk. 2 of the victims are females, 1 is a male, but police say due to the condition their bodies were found in, their races are unknown at this time. Police do say all 3 appear to be young, either in their late teens or early 20s. Of course, there's still a lot of remaining questions surrounding this case. If you have any helpful information for police, you are asked to contact them. We're live in Bay Terraces this morning. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
You can see it's cloudy there and cloudy for most of us. The marine layer covering La Jolla, downtown, all the way out through El Cajon, but in Ramona it is sunny. Visibility is still the main issue in Fallbrook. Visibility drops off to about 0.3 of a mile, so if that's your route, leave time for travel. El Cajon has also come down to about 4 miles, so within the next hour we may see some more fog kind of form, but then it will clear out to sunny skies with highs topping off in the low to mid 70s along our coast today. Inland neighborhoods, temperatures anywhere from the low to upper 80s, but most of us in the mid 80s. Jared?
We are crash free across San Diego County right now, but still a little bit of trouble with some slowing in our usual trouble spots, like right here coming down from Carlsbad. The 5 south is down to 19 miles an hour. The 15 as you get south of Escondido and into that Rancho Bernardo area is below 40 miles an hour for a couple of miles. In the East County, you're crawling at 6 miles an hour when you get on the 52 coming out of Santee. You can see how slow that is right now in the merge with the 125. And the South Bay has some slowing from National City almost all the way up to the 8 on the 805. The 5 in National City is down to 20 miles an hour. Buckle up, everyone.
Thanks, Jared. Police investigating 2 shootings overnight that sent 5 people to a hospital. The first one happened downtown on 6th Avenue, about a block from Symphony Hall. Witnesses telling police 5 men got into a fight and then shots were fired. A man who just happened to be walking nearby when the fight broke out was shot in the leg, taken to a hospital, but he's expected to be okay. Then, just after midnight in Lincoln Park, 4 people had to go to a hospital. Witnesses say they were hit in a drive-by shooting. You see the bullet holes in the car. Police say none of these victims is cooperating. One of them has life-threatening injuries. Police have not arrested anyone in either shooting.
And scary moments caught on camera after a chain reaction crash on the 94. Suspected drunk driver nearly runs right through the crash scene with people still on the road. This started just after 2 this morning. Man called 911 because he ran out of gas installed in the slow lane. One car rear-ended him and then flipped. A third car crashed into that overturned vehicle. One driver had to go to the hospital. Fortunately, no one walking across the lanes was hurt, but there were some close calls. Police arrested the driver who almost crashed into the wreck.
The Perseid meteor shower is underway, and tonight through tomorrow morning will be the best time to see it. This is an annual shower. It's a comet flare-up in the Earth's atmosphere. It kind of looks like falling stars. The shower this year does hit at a bad time with the moon close to full. That makes it brighter and more difficult to see the light show, but NASA says there will be lots of meteors and fireballs this year, so it's still worth going outside to try and see it. And Megan's saying it kind of depends on where you are in San Diego. Coming up next on Good Morning America, a family felt they had to sell their dream home even though they'd never moved in. The threatening messages they started receiving 5 years ago when they first bought the home.
Yeah, the mystery is building.
Yeah.
We're just getting started, of course. We'll have another update for you coming up at 7:25.
Taking you outside into the pea soup, everybody, and try to wade through it safely. We'll see you in 30.
From the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Hello, I'm Jim Patton with this 10 News update. Police are investigating how 3 people died after they were found in the trunk of a car in Bay Terraces. Neighbors reported a suspicious vehicle parked on Jamie Avenue yesterday. When officers got there, they found the 3 bodies inside. Officials are trying to figure out how long the bodies have been inside the car and how the car got there. 2 victims are females, the other are male, all either late teens or early 20s. Well, police are investigating 2 shootings overnight that sent 5 people to a hospital. First happened downtown on 6th Avenue, a block away from Symphony Hall. Witnesses told police 5 men got into a fight and then shots were fired. Man walking nearby was shot on the leg and taken to a hospital. And then just after midnight in Lincoln Park, 4 people had to go to a hospital. Witnesses say they were hit in a drive-by shooting. A man's car hit after it ran out of gas on the 94 freeway, and then more crashes followed. A suspected drunk driver nearly ran, you see right there, through the crash scene with people still on the road. That driver was arrested. Officials say a man called 911 at around 2:15 this morning, saying he ran out of gas and stalled in the slow lane. Before anyone could get there, another car rear-ended him, flipping his car onto its roof, and then another car crashed into them. Fortunately, only one person needed to be taken to a hospital. Well, today is the second session of the OB Pier Jump as part of the Junior Lifeguard Program. It is designed to teach kids about drowning prevention. Parents can buy tickets to jump with their kids. All proceeds benefit the Prevent Drowning Foundation of San Diego, which teaches kids how to swim. Time now to get a check on the weather. Megan?
Oh, we're off to a fair start today, and if you are headed out to downtown, depending on when the clouds clear, we'll either get to 75 or 76 degrees this afternoon. If you're sticking around for the Padres game, 7:10 first pitch, about 69 degrees with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s all night for the game. We'll be in the low to mid 70s for the coast today. Most areas will clear out by mid to late morning.